Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Debbie Alley's Project 39, and I want to show you a project I made with a paper collection from Not Too Shabby called Elephant Love. It's a really fabulous collection, lots of bright colors, and let me show you the paper and then I'll show you the project I made. So there are 24 double-sided designs, 4 of each design, and it's a 6x6 paper pad. This really gives you an overview of what it's about. It's got the elephant and it's got some beautiful flowers in the background. I mean, I just love the colors. Here is the B side of that paper. Love these flowers. Aren't they adorable? And here is more of the elephants in hearts and hearts in the background. You can see the beautiful coloring of the purple with the touch of teal in there, which is really pretty. And again, you can see it here, the teal and the different color purple flowers. And here we go again with the beautiful flowers and the elephant mixed in. And then here's this really pretty paper. Sort of reminds me of bamboo, although it's not, but pretty purple there. Purple here with the elephants, and here is more stripes with those flowers. I didn't do that one already, did I? No, that was different. And then the final one is this teal polka dot background. It's got some layers in there, but then also this is the cut apart page that goes with it. So you get 4 of these along with 4 of all of the other papers. So now let me show you the project that I made using this paper. So I made an adorable mini album. Now this measures 5.5 by 6.5, so it means you can use the 6x6 paper, but there's a minimal amount of cutting. So to use the 6x6 paper, I usually layer for the front and back covers, and you can see that I did that. There's a couple of layers on top of the turquoise cardstock that I used as a base. So you can see here I did fussy cut the elephant out of one of the pages here, this page that you have all the fussy cut elements, and added some extra flowers just to add some pizzazz. I did add a doily from my stash. It's about a 5-inch doily and it just fit nicely onto this paper. So you can see on the cover there is the turquoise base, and on top of the turquoise base there is light purple and then white and then the paper. And so that really brings out all of the colors of this paper collection, and it makes a nice nice cover. So now inside, let me show you what I've done. Okay, and so in the front cover, I have this, I call it like the signature paper. You see the colors and you see the imagery of the elephant with the baby, and I just thought it's just a beautiful introduction inside. So I didn't do anything on the left side, but on the right side you see I did make a photo mat. Now on the bottom corners of the photo mats, it's a tuck spot, so you still can add your photographs. This photo mat on this page is 4.25 by 5.25, so you could easily crop down a 4x6 photo to go on that photo mat, and it would look perfect in this book. It's just a nice overall design. And now the next page has a couple of smaller photo mats. One is 4 by 3 and one is 4.25 by 3.25. So again, you'd be able to trim down some photos and put it right either on that white photo mat or cover the white photo mat entirely, so you just have the blue showing. And I did fussy cut some flowers to go on the corner of this page. I think it just makes a nice overall composition. I loved this purple heart paper and wanted to utilize it, so I've got a couple of different size photo mats. I just cut a heart, and I had a small punch and I just added that into the corners. Again, I love the imagery of this page. I fussy cut this elephant, and you can see I'm using this to show you that you still can tuck something into that corner of the photo mat. The elephant is not glued down all the way. This elephant here is from the page where you can fussy cut, and again, it's open. You see that elephant there on the top. I did cover the flowers, which were pink and orange, pink and coral really, and I covered it with a blue and purple flower on the top of the elephant. I love these larger flowers. That again is from that fussy cut element. And then the back page, I just left that one page blank. You could add a photo or ephemera, whatever you have. Now, if you took a trip to the zoo, you could add the tickets or a menu or whatever you have from the day that you wanted to remember. You could just add it to that page. Now here is a flap covering a pocket on the right hand side, the inside back cover, and I put a little folder in there. It gives you some more room for photos or ephemera or whatever you have, and fits nicely into that pocket. Again, it's a very easy mini album to make. Yeah, I did add a little elephant on the back there with the flowers, and I fussy cut another elephant just to add some interest to that spine. So let's get started. I am going to show you how to make this. Again, there's not a hinge involved. It's just simply covering some chipboard for the cover and making the pages. So let's get started. All right, here we're going to start. And I have taken one 8.5 by 11 piece of medium weight chipboard, and I cut it 6.5 across, and then I cut it in half at 5.5. So I have two 6.5 by 5.5 inch pieces, and then out of this one long strip, I cut it 6.5, and it's probably about 2 inches. So, so this is what we have: 6.5 by 5.5, 6.5 by 2, 6.5 by 5.5. Now I've already put some double-sided permanent adhesive on the back of one side. So there's adhesive on the back of all three of these pieces. And I'm going to take my 8.5 by 11 cardstock with a 1/4 inch piece of score tape or double-sided adhesive on one side. I'm using the lines on my mat to match everything up, just trying to get, pretty straight connect to the two pieces. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we want it as straight as possible. So I'll put that down and then take my bone folder and burnish. And then I'm going to take the 6.5 by 2 inch chipboard spine, peel off the backing paper, and I'm going to put it in about the center. I've already burnished that double-sided adhesive, so it's got a good stick to it. So I'm going to make sure it's equal from top to bottom. And in the center of the paper, I'll take my bone folder and burnish the back. And then I'm going to take my 1/4 inch double-sided adhesive and put a strip on both sides of that chipboard. Just go up as close as you can to the chipboard and then burnish it. Just using the blunt edge of this bone folder, but it also, I can scrape it and it lifts up the covering of that double-sided adhesive. And then I will take the other pieces, the 6.5 by 5.5 inch pieces, and lay it up next to the chipboard spine, but right not on it. I'm going maybe 3/16 of an inch away from that one spine piece. Not quite 1/4 of an inch, but like I said, about 3/16. And then I will burnish that in a second. Let me grab the other piece. And it's easiest if I turn my cover, the paper, over a little bit. And this paper, by the way, is 65-pound weight. You could use a little bit heavier. I wouldn't go any heavier than 100-pound weight. It tends to crack. It doesn't fold as easy. So again, I'm putting that piece on the other side of my chipboard spine. And then I'll take my bone folder and burnish on the back. And I'm sorry I didn't record all of this, but what I did is I took just a pair of scissors and cut off some of the excess on both sides. And then I took the scissors and I went close to where that chipboard is, but staying about 1/8 of an inch away, and then cut the other side. So again, I took the scissors, went to the corner of the chipboard, staying about 1/8 of an inch away, and then cut on that side. And then I'm going to just use my surface to fold everything down, just burnish on the edge. And then I am going to take some liquid adhesive. I'm going to go right close to the edge of the chipboard. And then I will use my bone folder to push this up. So we're right up against the edge of that chipboard, and then I fold it over and burnish. Now, as you can see, there is some excess glue coming out. I'm going to just clean that up a little bit. And then we'll do the same with the other side. So again, I'll take some of the glue and put it right up against that chipboard. It helps the paper fold a little bit, because now it's a little, the fibers of the cardstock are going to be a little moist, and it will help fold it a little better. And again, I'll take a cloth and just wipe that a little bit, just so there's not too much excess. Gonna just push in right up against that chipboard. On all 4 of those corners. And add some liquid adhesive. I'm not going to go crazy with it. I don't want it to be soaking wet. You know, I just want to have a good stick. So I'm just going to push up against that chipboard, and then I'll grab the center part and pull it down. And burnish till we get a nice, good stick. And we'll do that with the other side. And again, push up against the chipboard so it's at a right angle, the cardstock up against that chipboard. And I'm going to start in the center using my fingers and the bone folder to move the glue a little bit, so until it holds. And there we go. So we've got it covered nicely. Now I'm going to take my bone folder, and this has a blunt edge to it, and I'm going to push down, and I'll pull up the cover, and I'm going to push down to get this little lip to push up against where the adhesive is. And I'll do that with this side as well. And then we'll fold it and fold it here. And now we have a nice cover. I like to take the edge of the bone folder and push it up against the edge of the chipboard. It just gives you a nice crisp, clean edge. And there we are done with the cover. Now what I'm going to do is take a piece of paper and cover the spine. Alright, so I've cut a piece of cardstock that matches this, and it's 5 inches by 6.5. And then I've taken some double-sided permanent adhesive and put it about 4 inches on the, this is a 2-inch piece, and then the other ones were 1-inch pieces. So I put that on the back. I'm going to peel off that double-sided adhesive. And I am going to do my best to center this on. I'm going to put it right up against the bottom. And I will burnish that down. And I will also make sure I burnish down in that channel between where the spine and the covers meet. And I'm going to push down pretty hard, but I don't want to make a hole in it. I'll fold the cover up as I do, because what I'm trying to do is get the double-sided adhesive that's on the back of this piece to meet with the double-sided adhesive that we put on that the quarter-inch piece we put on either side of the spine. And that will just make sure that spine gets a good adhesion. And it just will be down really well. So then I'll gently fold each side until it folds back and forth. Now this is a little bit, it's sticking out a little. I'm just going to grab a cutting board. I have a little knife, and I'm going to just trim. I just had this one little piece, so we'll just trim that off. Alright, and so there is our cover. Now if you wanted to, you could cover the inside of this, but I'm going to cover it with patterned paper in a little bit, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Alright, now we're going to cut the paper for the pages. And now I'm going to show you how we make the pages. So you're going to need to cut 5 pieces that are 5 3/4 by 6 1/4. 5 pieces, 5 3/4 by 6 1/4. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways of doing this. I know not everybody has all of the tools. First way is using the scoreboard, which is the easiest, but if you don't have a scoreboard, I'll show you another way. I have the 5 3/4 inch side at the top and the 6 1/4 inch down at the side. I am just going to score this at 1/2 inch. That's all there is to it. But I'm going to show you how to do this if you don't have a scoreboard and you are going to use a paper trimmer. So now my paper trimmer, I am going to put the 5 3/4 inch side at the top, and I'm going to measure it over to 5 3/4, I'm sorry, 5 1/4, 5 1/4. And then I'm going to take my scoring blade and just score down there. So here we have the 1/2 inch score line. Now if you don't have a scoring blade, then again you will take this and put it at 5 1/4, and instead of cutting it with your cutting tool, you just simply take a stylus or something with a blunt tip and go down and you score it. So those are 3 different ways. If you have a scoreboard, if you don't have a scoreboard, or if you, fourth way, I'm sorry, the 4th way is just to take this, you could mark where the 1/2 inch is, and just take your stylus or whatever you have with a blunt tip and just score it that way. And then you can easily fold it and use a bone folder or whatever you have to burnish it. And there we go. Those are 4 different ways of scoring that. All right, so now I've got the 5 pages scored, and I've taken the time to put a 1/4 inch score tape on this little tab. I did not miter the corners. Sometimes you'll see in making mini albums we'll miter the corners, but in this case we're not going to. What we're making, these pages are called L pages. I guess if I go like this, you can see it looks like an L. I don't have a hinge system per se. This little tab is going to be what we use to attach it to the page. So all 5 of these pages I have scored at the 1/2 inch, added the 1/4 inch score tape, folded, and I used my bone folder to burnish and to burnish that score tape. When I put I call it score tape, it's the double-sided adhesive. When I put it on, I don't go all the way to the end because I am also going to use liquid glue and go completely around the double-sided adhesive. So what we're going to do is we're going to first take 2 pieces. So one is going to go close to the left-hand side of our spine, and center top and bottom, and maybe go about 1/8 of an inch away from the end of the spine piece. So what I'll do is peel off the backing of that double-sided adhesive, and I'm using a liquid adhesive. I wanted one that I know to be strong and fast drying. Alright, so I added the glue. I'm going to fold that down, and since I already dry fitted it, I know exactly where I want to put this. So it's going to go about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the spine. And now I'll take my bone folder and burnish. I like using 2 kinds of adhesives in this case because the double-sided adhesive will hold it while the liquid adhesive dries. And that liquid adhesive is pretty strong. I feel like the fibers of the cardstock on the page will mingle with the fibers of the cardstock, and that helps give it a very good adhesion. So now I'm going to add the second piece, and this one's going to go all the way to the right side. I've peeled off the backing of the double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to stay 1/8 of an inch away from the right-hand side of the spine. When I put it down, I want to make sure that it's even with this other piece. I burnish it, and then I'll open it and burnish it some more. Now you could decorate the pages before you put it on. In this case, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, now we're going to take 2 more pieces and add this to the book. Okay, so I put on the 2 pieces to the far left and the far right, and then the next ones in the center, overlapping just a little bit on that tab. on the left and the right, and then I added one in the center. So you've got all 5 pages put in the book. So there is our book. Now you could also decorate the pages before you put it in. I personally find it easier to decorate once the pages are in, because then you've got that continuity. You know that this page is going to match with this page, but that's entirely up to you. Now I'm going to show you how to add a pocket. I'm going to leave the front alone, but I'm going to add a pocket to the back inside cover with a flap. We're going to have a flap on the pocket, and the flap will be 6 1/4 by 5. We'll put the 6 1/4 inside at the top and simply score at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to take a corner rounder and just round those 2 corners. And for the pocket, you'll need a piece 6 1/2 by 2 1/4. Now this 6 1/2 inch piece, we'll put the 6 1/2 inch side at the top of the scoreboard. So the lines are going up and down. We're putting that long side to the top. I'm going to score it 1/2 inch, rotate, score it 1/2 inch, rotate, and score it 1/2 inch. And this is what's going to make a pocket for us. Now I did show you how to use your paper trimmer if you don't have a scoreboard, so use that if you need to. Now I'm going to miter the corner, so here at the top I'm just going to go up to that line and do that on both sides. And here at the bottom there is an X caused by where the 2 score lines are, and I'm just going to cut straight across that X right in the center. Just like that. And then this one I'm just going to miter from that score line or up to that score line. I'm going to take my bone folder and fold this down and burnish on those fold lines so it'll stay nice and flat. And we'll do the same with the paper here. And I'm simply going to take my liquid adhesive and put it on that bottom 1/2 inch tab. Whoops. And then, whoops, I got glue all over, but you know what? It's not a big deal. We're going to cover it with paper. And then I'm going to line that up at the bottom. I'm going to center it on this page. I'll take my bone folder and burnish, and then add glue to these side tabs and burnish. Burnish. And before I put this on, I've got my old-fashioned corner rounder. I've had it forever. I couldn't tell you where it came from. It doesn't even have a brand on it. I know I need to get a new one, and I will someday. And then this will go up at the top, and that will make a flap on top of the pocket. So just center it on the page. And that's all there is to making this little mini album. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you again for watching, and have a fabulous day.